This car cruise coverage is presented by the law offices of Michael O'Day. If you've been injured, let's make it right.
Saturday was a beautiful day for a car cruise in Norwin, so we stopped by Excella Square at Norwin, and we saw some beautiful vehicles.
Gary Tonkovich. Well, it's a 1930 Ford Roadster. It's on a 32 frame. Has a 1960 Cadillac engine in it with 6 carburetors, Stromberg 97s. I've had it 8 years. I've put over 30,000 miles on it. Drove it all over the East Coast. It's a good running car. I had several hot rods when I was young, and then I got married and had children and things. But when I retired, I told my wife I'd like to, and this is what I always wanted, was a little roadster. So that's what I have.
Gary Hampton from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. It's a 1956 Resto-Mod. It's got a LS3 motor in it. It's got a new chassis in it, 4-wheel independent suspensions. Got the stainless steel brakes on it. 525 horsepower. Got a DVD in it with navigation, and it's all state-of-the-art, like a brand new car. My buddy from up in Buffalo had it for 40 years, and I tried to buy it, and every time I tried to buy it, he said he wouldn't sell it. So one day he finally gave in and said, "I'll sell it to you." And by that time I had already had 3 other cars, and I said, "You got to wait a year," and he waited a year, and then I got the car.
Ken Frisco.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about the car behind us?
It's a 56 Ford. It's got a 302 Ford in it, automatic.
I have a 57 Chevy. It's all Resto-modded. It has all new front end suspension, disc brakes, a power steering, air conditioning, power windows, cruise control. It's pretty much ready for the highway to travel all over the country if you want to.
About 22 years ago, I've always wanted a bird, and I'm always a car nut. And I like everything, but I just always dreamed about having a Thunderbird. Seeing them, you always related to something that you were as a kid, product of your own time. And I seen one in the neighborhood and stuck with it. I liked everything, but I knew Fords and Dad and all of that, and that's usually how any of us really get started. And about the age of 40-some, my buddy, he says, "You got to buy this. You've been looking so long. You've looked in books. We're all dreamers." And I said, "Hey," he says, "I know where one's at." And it took me about a week after seeing the guy, and he just had it in the garage with some old cars, and he said, "You don't buy it, I'll do something with it." And I took a week, and the car wasn't even shorter plates. He just gave me a plate off his wife's car and took it for a ride down my buddy's garage. It took a week to buy it. But it's basically just an original, unrestored, used old car, like a frontline piece yet.
And one nice thing about this car has like a lot of nice features. Like it has the cove seats in the back, the swing away steering wheel, and all the inside. It's all original. It's just basically when we find it just needed cleaned up.
Ford did some uniqueness, just like the big three: Ford, Chrysler, and Chevy. But Lee Iacocca, if you remember that name, he started back when the Ford was in trouble. They made a Mustang, a Falcon, and they redesigned these cars. And he put style in them. Uniqueness in all the world was its biggest thing in the advertising for it. And they did. They made it. It's basically a Ford drivetrain with a unique body that's no other. You know, the interior and all that. And it was just neat. I call it a big, heavy pig that just looked good and nice and just unique looking.
And also, I'm sorry, another thing is about we have a roof that's like really unique. The roof is tell them what the name is.
Back in the 60s, you could get them all. It was an option for any car. But everybody thinks it's a vinyl top. It's an Archman sprayed on, it's called Archman colored roof. And you came in white and black. And there's an advertising on it. We have all kinds of literature, but it's a painted on roof, and it's funny, guys will go up to it and feel it. And just like, you know, and then they'll look at me and says, some of them do remember it, you know. It's just because of its age, you don't find the roof on too many cars of it, but this one has one.
My name is Brian Hochberger.
Can you tell me about the car behind us?
Yes, it's a 2017 Challenger GT. It's limited in color in 2017. They only made certain amount of this color, which is called Green Go. So it's a rare type of color for the car. Been interested in Mopar for years. I actually had the Chargers before, but when they came out with the all-wheel drive Challenger, I had to have it. And then I really wanted to get the color that is so rare. So I actually went out to a dealership out on Route 66, and they got it in for me. I've had it for a little over a year now.
Denny Nespoli.
Jane Nispoli.
Okay, so you guys have 2 cars down here.
We do.
So tell us about these cars. Let's start with this blue one.
The 56 is a clone of her first original car. All her life she wanted me to build her a 56 Tudor hardtop just like hers. And hers was a V8 4-speed. I made it a V8 5-speed. Figure after all these years I might need an extra gear.
So what about the car right over here, this black car?
55 belonged to a 85-year-old gentleman that helps me at my shop, and he put it together in 1981, and he didn't want it anymore. So I bought it from him.
What got you interested in cars?
Oh my God. Well, I started working when I was 13 at a truck garage across from my mom and dad's house. That's where it started. I fell in love with cars and old trucks.
And now he has his own business. Now he has his own business, full service mechanic and body shop.
Oh, nice.
Started in 1973, right after high school.
David Bem.
Okay, so tell me about the car behind us.
Well, it's a 2014 100th anniversary Dodge Challenger, one of 206 made. And the color of it is high octane red. And I recently acquired this, matter of fact, about a week ago, June 4th. There's 5,000 miles on it. Motor's a Hemi, 5.7. There's a lot of extras done to this, performance, chip. The exhaust, if you get underneath and get a shot of it, it's all polished. You can see your face in it. You could actually shave in it. These sill plates, they're one of 6 made. They were made for Chrysler executive cars, but the original owner of this went down to Daytona Beach, Florida, where the company was making them, and somehow acquired a set. And he said, if you ever sell the car, make sure you take the sill plates, because there's other 2014 100th anniversary Challengers out there, but they do not have the sill plate on there that says 100 years Dodge 1914. RT stuff put onto this. The hood scoops are functional. The spoiler in the front end is off an SRT8 Challenger. The wheels are unique to this model, the 100th anniversary. They're 20-inch polished aluminum with F1 Goodyear tires on it. Paddle shifters on the steering wheel, wood grain dash, the 2-tone leather with the 100th anniversary emblem right here. And you'll notice the B on the side, that's the Scat Pack. And the reason for that is back in 1971, when you ordered a Challenger RT, you got these right here, this exact same stripe. That was the only year they used this stripe, was in 71. The 70 Challengers didn't have it. And also, if you notice up front on the fog lights, they're yellow instead of being white. You know, and it's sort of the original owner of this car, Tom, kind of wanted to duplicate the car that he had. You know, he got rid of it in the mid-90s. He had taken it to SEMA, but it's kind of modeled after, it's the 100th anniversary, but it's modeled after the 1971 Challenger RT. A lot of these cars that have this open, well, the original owner, what he did was he had an air gauge, something with whatever, that found out with a cover on top of this, and here it sucked in more cold air from the front rather than have that open. So that was his.
If you'd like to advertise here on Steel City News, you can contact us through our website. Thanks for watching.